The Umbrella Academy is full of twists and turns, but these moments were so big that no one could have predicted them. As soon as it was announced on Netflix, the Umbrella Academy was always going to be a huge hit among the masses, thanks in part to the endless popularity of superhero movies. Based on a comic book series, the show ranks among one of the best superhero dramas one could ever wish to watch. There are high stakes, brilliantly powerful people, and the edge-of-the-seat action we all crave. While Season 1 had its fair share of unpredictable moments, honestly, the Umbrella Academy's second outing took things to another level. While the apocalypse was the theme again, there was a lot more to the story. And here are some scenes from it that fans did not see coming. Number 10. Ben Can Possess Klaus. Now this one, I admit, came out of nowhere. There were always doubts with regards to what Klaus can actually achieve with his powers. And in Season 2, the fans saw something incredible. Ben possessed Klaus's body. And while it didn't have much of an impact on the storyline, the fans got to know a little something about Ben as a character. It turns out, Ben also liked a girl in the Prophet cult, so used Klaus's body to achieve his desire of meeting her. Now that one, you couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah, this. I found it in your room. It's a little dated, I know, but it's very breathy on the...
Number 9. Leela is the handler's adopted daughter. One of the new characters introduced in the second part of the show, Leela, at first felt like someone who would just be a sidekick to Diago throughout the season. But as the series went on, her part also increased incredibly. This was the handler's master plan. In reality, she wanted Leela to infiltrate the Umbrella Academy and get closer to Diego in order to keep Five safe. I mean, it didn't work out very well, but it was worth a try.
Perfect. Because I'm somewhat of a lone wolf myself.
Number 8. Multiple Fives. As soon as the Umbrella Academy siblings got transported to the 1960s, they messed up the timeline they came from. And were about to mess up their current timeline too. They just had to lay low in a place that they didn't belong. But instead, everybody apart from Five began to find something of purpose. When he was backed into a corner, Five eventually had no choice but to talk to his former self. In an older body, of course. Who was in Dallas to witness the John F. Kennedy murder of all things. What followed was a series of hilarious moments. Check it out.
That's one badass stapler.
Number 7. Ben the Savior. Ben was never meant to be a huge part of the plot in the first 2 seasons, but thanks to Klaus, he did have a pretty huge impact towards the very end. When Vania was threatening to set loose again, Diego, Klaus, and Allison made their way to her in order to stop her. But of course, it wasn't that easy, because she was generating a whole ton of energy from inside of herself, which was kind of the whole problem to begin with. And when everyone else failed, Ben made his way to Vania, possessed her, and talked her down, allowing her to return to her body and not explode, destroying the world.
Tell Klaus something for me, will you?
Number 6. Harlan has received something dangerous. Again, this just goes on to show how this series has developed. In the first season, there was only one storyline that mattered. The end of the world. You know, it kind of covers a lot. But in the second season, there was multiple storylines intertwining with each other, weaving in and out, and it was a little bit of a mess, but such a wonderful mess. One of them was involving Harlan, Sissy's, Vania's lover's, son, who drowned in a lake, only to be revived by Vania moments later. And when she did that, Harlan got some of her powers, which came to light towards the very end. Number 5. Vania's memory loss. Vania was the trigger that caused the apocalypse in the future, so the siblings were justifiably wary of the threat she posed in this timeline too. Thankfully, when she arrived in the past, she got hit by Sissy's car. This ended up with her forgetting everything about her life. All that she seemed to remember was her name. Now, it very well might be that Vania actually knew everything all along and that she just didn't want to remember. But regardless of that fact, this whole memory loss thing was definitely unpredictable. Number 4. Five mastering his abilities. Now, Five isn't necessarily the strongest member of the Umbrella Academy, but he definitely has the power to play with time, and that is not something that's easy to master. Over the 2 seasons, the fans have seen various examples of this exact fact. Five has repeatedly failed to implement his powers to the best of his abilities. But as soon as he went back in time and had a chat with Sir Reginald Hargreaves in the past, something just seemed to click for him, and he was able to actually bring back his brothers and sisters by going seconds into the past. Number 3. Lila Has Powers. This happens towards the end of the series, when it looked like the Umbrella Academy had won the fight. Everything was good, right? Then out of nowhere, Leela mirrored Vanias' powers to strike back, and at that point, none of the fans are sure what powers Leela actually had. In reality, it turns out she can do anything her opponent is able to do. It's kind of a mimicry ability. And they also learned that she is one of the 43 people who were born on the same day. This means that the Umbrella Academy was, and should have been, her real family all along. Number 2. The Sparrow Academy. As we've spoken about previously, when the Umbrella Academy traveled into the past, the fans knew that they were playing with the timeline. And when they did, they definitely caused some shockwaves in the same by meeting people, like their dad, Sir Reginald Hargreaves, because that's not a terrible idea. Because he now knows that the Umbrella Academy turned out to be a huge failure, he's definitely got to try to change it, right? Thus came about the existence of the Sparrow Academy in the future. Or the new future, I guess, with Ben at the helm. And yes, I'm talking about the same Ben who died in the Apocalypse timeline.
This is the Sparrow Academy.
Number 1. The Sir Reginald Hargreaves reveal. Sir Reginald Hargreaves seemed to lack compassion. He looked like someone who literally didn't care about anyone, and his actions kinda carried that along. All he seemed to care about was saving the world. And if that's at stake, I guess he does care about people, just not individual people. It's sometimes hard and difficult to understand how he could be so ruthless when he wants to save the world. The writers decided to give the fans a shock reveal. And this is something that no one, myself included, saw coming. When John F. Kennedy was killed by the Majestic 12, Reginald killed every single person in that elite group by removing his face, which it turns out is a mask revealing his true self. It looks like he might just be an alien of all things. Did not see that one coming. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our video, make sure to hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap that bell notification so you don't miss out on our next awesome video.